So I really want to talk about The Last of Us. It's been on my mind recently with the HBO series finishing the run of its first season. With the release of the PC version of the game right around the corner, I thought, why not give my 2 cents on it unsolicited? The Last of Us is a TV series that is done best when it sticks to its source material. A personal favorite example of this was the first episode, how the show handled the telling of the story of Sarah. I thought it was done tastefully and that it beautifully added depth to her character, leading into the inevitable sad scene that occurs later. Actually managed to make the TV show version of the event more emotional for me.
Come on, baby girl.
I know some of the mouth breathers in the Last of Us community had a problem with the recast because of her race, but the actor is incredibly talented and beautiful, and none of that was any issue here for me. She did amazing, y'all. I really enjoy and appreciate both the casting for Tommy and Joel. Both of those were S tier for me. The actor playing Ellie is doing an amazing job, despite what you might hear online.
Sleep.
I'm not even tired.
Another really big plus for me in terms for the show was the design of the infected. I can see that they put a lot of budget and time into that. Certainly shows they did an amazing job with the visual effects. Speaking of the infected though, really aren't depicted anywhere near as frequently as they are
in the game.
Show kind of treats it like a special event when the zombies show up rather than just a given that's in the world that they're in. Depending on who you are watching it, you may not enjoy that aspect of it too much.
We are the Walking Dead.
Another thing to get into on the positive side before I start crapping on the show too hard, there are a couple few moments, like wholesome moments between Joel and Ellie in the show that weren't in the game that I really love and appreciate a lot. I think they add a lot of depth to Joel's character, to who he is as a man, who he is as a father.
It wasn't time that did it.
It does a great job of spelling out why he loves Ellie so much, if you're into that. Now let's talk about the stuff that I really didn't like all too much. Spoiler alert, my main talking point for the rest of this video is going to be about all the unnecessary changes.
Baby, I don't understand this.
Don't get me wrong, I understand that TV shows need to do something different from the source material to keep new audiences interested. I completely get it. Coming from the perspective of someone whose first experience with Last of Us was all the way back in 2013, trading in everything I could and picking up the game pre-owned at 12 years old at GameStop.
Get your money up, not your funny up.
Playing the story mode and the factions multiplayer religiously over and over again for hundreds of hours, literally. I've been falling in love with this project and this IP, this world and these characters like so many other people have said. And the one thing that we all wanted was to see the beautiful and wonderful once-in-a-lifetime experience of this game brought to the big screen. The Last of Us HBO does not do that. And most of the time instead just chose to expand on the narrative of characters that none of us were really interested in.
When Michael and I were little, this room seemed so big.
Main example of this that everyone is the most controversially speaking about is episode 3, which in the show covers the arc of Joel and Ellie going to Billstown. With one major difference. By the time they actually show up to Billstown, Bill is dead.
What did he say?
And instead, the entire episode is pretty much a flashback about his relationship with Frank prior to his death. I know everybody has strong opinions about this one and no one really wants to hear mine. So I'm not going to spend too much time picking apart or lingering on this topic. But I will say that for my own personal reaction to the episode, I know the story of The Last of Us literally like the back of my hand.
You want a cookie?
One of the top 3 memories for that experience for me is always going to be remembering Bill and Ellie going back and forth talking shit to each other throughout the entire level, actually.
What I say to you when we walk down the steps? What I say?
I'm just fixing your stupid pile.
Don't touch.
I feel like I'm speaking for a large crowd of people when I say one of our favorite parts of that game was going into the schoolyard, looking for the car and the battery, discovering the truth about Frank and Bill's trauma with his past relationship with Frank, all while Ellie's calling him a lard ass in the background. It is literal genius. Instead, in the show, we get a softer, more out of character version of Frank, at least in the one that we got in the game. Absolutely zero interactions between him, Ellie, and Joel in present tense. Don't even get to see them go to the school to find the car or fight a bloater. Just leaves them a letter, the car, a whole bunch of convenient weapons, ammo, and food, and dissipates from the story as if he was never even in it.
That shit was trash, my nigga.
That is not what I wanted when I envisioned live action adaptation of The Last of Us. I'm sorry. Also, I felt like the way they did Tess's death scene was pretty unnecessarily weird. That's just me. There aren't any segments of Joel clearing out entire hallways full of enemies while they're trying to get to their next destination. No scenes building nail bombs or Molotovs that infected. Don't get the iconic scene of Joel falling off the balcony and receiving his injury. Really don't see any of our characters actually fight or defeat a bloater. For the most part, every scene between Joel and Ellie copied directly from the game did not match the same emotional intensity as the source material. Even the last episode of the season, which is the most action-packed, also simultaneously ends up being the shortest and most rushed. While I think the staff and the team on the show did a beautiful job with the hospital scene itself, upon witnessing it and seeing the entirety of the season, I knew that it was safe to say that nothing would ever amount to the first way this story was delivered to me. Nothing will ever match playing through Joel's devotion to his family. There's something about the experience of the game, The Last of Us Part 1, that I truthfully believe nothing else ever given to us from the franchise will ever encapsulate, because it is not a zombie story, nor is it even a video game. It gives you the opportunity to play through the experience of a man who will do anything except for lose his daughter. So if you want to experience The Last of Us and haven't yet, please play the game. Or you can tune into my channel every single day this week where me and my girlfriend will be streaming the game live on PC.
Are you sure about that?
So if that sounds like something that would interest you, and if this video helped you in any way, it would mean the world to me if you could click like, subscribe, and that notification bell so you get notified next time I upload a video. I love you, I thank you, I appreciate you. Please comment what it is you want me to talk about and do a video on next. Sun God signing off.